Lord Lucan has been missing for more than 40 years, and today the High Court ruled that his son may now inherit his title.
It's been 41 years. We've all seen the most extraordinary claims and tales over these 41 years. To some extent it's been a bit of a jaunt, but at other times it's been very difficult.
I do believe my brother was innocent. I think he realised immediately that the dice were very heavily loaded against him.
Almost everyone immediately concluded the man was guilty, and nobody in the newspapers seemed to be shy about saying as much. I think the police formed a very concrete view of what had happened and didn't really bother, to be honest, to investigate the case as thoroughly as they might have otherwise done. And I could allude to the absence of my father's fingerprints, or blood group, or even, the most elementary investigative procedures you'd expect of a decent police force.
The inquest was a travesty. Lady Lucan gave evidence, yet she couldn't be challenged. There could be no questions asked about a psychiatric history, of which there was quite a lot of evidence. Nothing could be asked to really test her reliability as a witness. The coroner would not allow it. So if you accepted what she said, then one can understand the jury's verdict. But her evidence was never tested. And I think if her evidence was tested, the jury may have had some doubts about it.
He decided that the only alternative was to remove himself from the picture.
No, I just had to just leave, walk away from it all.
He was a man of considerable resourcefulness. He would have found a sanctuary somewhere.
You actually say if he had begged asylum from me, he would have got it?
He would have got it. The very meaning and essence of friendship is to help a man when he's in exactly a position like that. And therefore, he can call on me. Anybody can who's in that close group. And for them, you will take any risk.
And in the nature of things, he would have had to have lived a very restricted life to remain undetected.
I said, where do you think your brother is? And he said, a retreat.
Lord Lucan disappeared in November 1974 after his children's nanny, Sandra Rivet, was found murdered at the family home in London. His blood-stained car was later found abandoned in East Sussex. A year later, an inquest jury decided Lord Lucan had killed Miss Rivet after mistaking her for his estranged wife, Lady Lucan. The couple were involved in a custody battle for their 3 children.
It was when I turned the camera off and I was packing up the kit. He said, look, matter-of-factly in a way, he did escape, he did get away, and he became a Buddhist. And then he said he'd gone to India.
In 1999, he was officially declared dead by the High Court so that his will could be activated. And in 2014, the Presumption of Death Act finally enabled his son to apply for a death certificate so that he could inherit his title.
The court this morning declared Richard John Bingham, my father, known to most people as Lord Lucan, as to be dead for all legal purposes from 1981. This does not mean that he or any other person can will escape prosecution for the murder of Sandra Rivet in 1974, should the police wish to raise a prosecution. I want to take this time to applaud the efforts of Mr. Neil Berriman to secure justice for his mother, our beloved family nanny. We extend our sympathy to him and his broader family. That sympathy is well grounded in that neither their family nor our family know at whose hand this unfortunate lovely lady died in 1974. It's a mystery, and it may well remain that way forever.
I certainly don't believe he struck the blows. I don't believe he asked anyone else to.
George Bingham believes the burglar was disturbed by Sandra Rivet and lashed out in a blind panic at her and then Lady Lucan.
My father gets out the car and comes in the door. What's happened here? This is amazing. My mother, of course, she's just suffered the most tremendous and ferocious attack. She's in massive shock. She's probably concussed. And she's also, by her own admission, on some very, very heavy-duty prescription medicines in those days. She's coming to in all this darkness after this assault. And what she see? She sees the husband of 12 years who deserted her a year and a half beforehand and has been going through the courts trying to take her children away from her. What would you think if you were her?
But the case was never officially closed.
This is remarkable. Over the past 48 years, there have been dozens of reported sightings, but now a facial recognition expert believes Lord Lucan is still alive and living in Brisbane in a Buddhist monastery.
Wow.
Bizarre.
We're not kidding. Professor Hussain Ugail is the man with the theory, and he joins us now live from the UK. Professor, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it. I guess a lot of people are going to go, well, hang on a second, this looks way too far-fetched to be real. We can't show the picture either for legal reasons, but how certain are you that it's him?
As certain as my algorithm can be. The algorithm has been tested thousands and thousands of times and has been trained using millions and millions of photos. So it is a very reliable algorithm. We have used it on very high-profile cases, including the Salisbury poisoning case, identifying the suspects, as well as some of the suspects involved in Jamal Khashoggi's case. So the algorithm has been used in many, many such cases, and in my experience, has never been wrong so far.
Does this guy know he's the chief suspect?
Well, he does now.
I know who you really are. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because, I mean, obviously, you've basically been on the run for 44 years, haven't you?
Well, you could say that.
Yeah.
On the run for 44 years.
Could you just explain to me, there was a lady that had to have karma repaid, wasn't there, back a few years ago when you left London?
Well, yes.
I'd heard a lot of karma from Stephen. He's the man in Australia who'd written to me.
He said, I want to confess to you, like I killed Sandra. She had karma to repay. It's her own fault.
I know that you're Lord Lucan. I don't want to do anything about it.
Good. Well, there actually isn't much you can do about it.
Oh.
No, it's all in the hands of the divine.
Your real name is Richard John Bingham, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean,
Chris. No, but you might as well just tell the truth, because I honestly think you need to lift the weight off of your shoulders, don't you?
On my birth certificate,
yes,
it's advertised as Derek Crowder.
The woman that you killed, could you explain to me why she needed karma to be repaid?
It's like when somebody tries to stop you from helping out, from, it's a very bit destructive. She came from a background that was very horrendous.
Right.
She was in a great deal of pain and stress.
Right. You're saying that Sandra Rivet was also a troubled being?
Well, yes.
So he's saying he knows her then?
No, I just had to just leave, walk away from it all.
But you did kill her though, didn't you?
Well, I have no memory of killing anybody, of terminating anybody's life, other than walking away from them.
Should I tell you who I really am? I'm Sandra Rivet's son.
Oh. Look, now, when you talk about Sandra Rivet, it doesn't mean anything to me.
But just a minute ago, you said that she was a disturbed woman, so you must have known her. Yeah, exactly. Just tell me the truth, Chris. I believe you murdered her.
I can't remember.
You were the nanny before Sandra. Can I show you something?
I'm speechless. 95% is the same person. He's the same man 50 years on.
In brief terms, if you're thinking about a human looking at a face in 3 dimensions, the computer can look at beyond 4,000 dimensions. If you do your plastic surgery on your nose, for example, you know, it's not just looking at the nose, it's actually looking at all the other parts of the face. The algorithm actually learns all the intricate details about the face. We found that anything above 75%, you know, we know it's the same individual.
78.5. Then the next set is 79.4. Next, 82.1% match. 88.5% match.
Have you ever been wrong?
I haven't been wrong so far. In our test cases, they are 99.9% accurate.
Professor Hassan Ugale's cutting-edge algorithm has come to the conclusion, with high statistical probability, the man in Australia with 5 names is Lord Lucan. We sent it off to 2 other respected AI departments, one in America and another in London. And both of those studies came in with results either the same or higher than Professor Hassan Ugale.
If you were going to go on the run, you wouldn't go looking the same as what you did in 1974, would you?
We know that Lord Lucan had had reconstructive plastic surgery on his nose 6 years before the murder of Sandra Rivet. This was a powerboat accident, ruptured his septum.
That plastic surgeon was Dr. John Watson, whose daughter Carolyn Allen believes Lord Lucan could have made another visit to her father for surgery immediately after the murder.
It would be quite possible if they had him as a surgeon once, if they needed extra things done or surgery done, they would go back to him. Father told me that the police descended upon his practice at Harley Street and asked lots of questions, and it's due to medical ethics. He was not allowed to give any information at all. When I last saw him, I said, "Look, Daddy, did you operate on Lord Lucan after the murder?" And he just went, which is what he would do. And he wasn't going to give an answer at all.
There's been some sort of skin or some plastic surgery inserted in the ear where the ear meets the head. It's obviously make them flared. You can see scarring. This is Lucan's plastic surgeon report when he had the speedboat accident, 1963. His left nostril, there's a nick, and you can see there the nick in exactly the same place. English, walks like a toff, arms behind his back. He's the same age as Lucan and the same birthday. The Interpol arrest warrant states that he's got blue eyes. This man has blue eyes.
Do you think there is a chance that he is still alive? I hope he is.
Sadatessa, Vardra.
He can be anywhere, I just don't know.
Derek Crowther, Adam Cadman, which means new man.
Do you think he's altered his appearance at all? Again, I don't know.
Christopher Newman, literally new man, and now Christopher Bell. He writes to Stephen, "You want me to come clean? I would if I could."
You're English, we were told by Beta. And where from? From
London.
We all got told that he travelled from England all around the world to learn Buddhism. His Buddhist name, Sadatissa. Sadatissa. 2 Buddhist monks come over from Tibet, the Tibetan Buddhist Society, and kind of realised that he just wasn't doing the right teachings, kind of questioned his credentials. They told Mum that he just wasn't a real monk. He was, fake. Fake monk.
I'm not a fucking Buddhist. I'm not anything.
Are you not? Okay, sorry,
No.
my mistake.
After that, he just disappeared.
You're from Belgravia, aren't you, London?
You live in Belgravia, I think people told me. Yeah, I was brought up by the Theosophical movement.
He'd been brought up by the Theosophical movement. You couldn't make it up. We can match that with Hugh Bingham, who was in the Theosophical Society in South Africa. His own brother comes from Belgravia, New Princess Margaret, Theosophical Society. I know who you really are. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, because, I mean, obviously, you've basically been on the run for 44 years, haven't you?
Well, you could say that.
Yes.
On the run for 44 years.
Could you just explain to me, there was a lady that had to have karma repaid, wasn't there? Back a few years ago, when you left London?
Well, yes,
I'd heard a lot of karma from Stephen. He's the man in Australia who'd written to me.
He said, I want to confess to you, like I killed Sandra. She had karma to repay. It's her own fault.
I know that you're Lord Lucan. I don't want to do anything about it.
Good. Well, there actually isn't much you can do about it.
Oh.
No, it's all in the hands of the divine.
This program can reveal that the police failed to preserve the crime scene. We have discovered that the footprints in blood in the basement of 46 Lower Belgrave Street were not of an intruder as originally suggested, but were made by a senior police officer.
Forensics are much more sensitive now. DNA wasn't around 30 years ago.
We've also found that experts were unable to find a definitive fingerprint of Lucan at his flat. His flat was covered in hand marks made by police officers who should not have been there. If this new evidence about the footprints and the fingerprint had been disclosed at the time, it would have raised questions at the inquest about the thoroughness of the police investigation.
I suspect that the original investigation into this matter fell well short of what a reasonable general public might expect of the police.
Your real name is Richard John Bingham, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean,
Chris. No, but you might as well just tell the truth, because I honestly think you need to lift the weight off of your shoulders, don't you?
Well, on my birth certificate,
yes,
it's advertised as Derek Crowder.
He says advertised.
The woman that you killed, could you explain to me why she needed karma to be repaid?
It's like when somebody tries to stop you from helping out, from, you know, it's a very bit destructive. She came from a background
Yes.
that was very horrendous.
Right.
She was in a great deal of pain and stress.
Right. You're saying that Sandra Rivet was also a troubled being?
Well, yes.
So he's saying he knows her then?
No, I just had to just leave, walk away from it all.
But you did kill her though, didn't you?
Well, I have no memory of killing anybody, of terminating anybody's life, other than walking away from them.
Shall I tell you who I really am? I'm Sandra Rivet's son.
Oh. Look, now, when you talk about Sandra Rivet, it doesn't mean anything to me.
But just a minute ago, you said that she was a disturbed woman, so you must have known her. Yeah, exactly. Just tell me the truth, Chris. I believe you murdered her.
I can't remember.
We've had facial recognition done. Comes as a match. Can I just show him this?
As Neil was talking to him, this guy stepped to his right, and that's when I saw this guy sitting on the lounge behind him.
Sort of parted ways.
And I recognised him straight away. That's him. That is him. There's no doubt in my mind.
I'd appreciate if there was no filming done.
But can I go and see him, if they stay there?
As long as there's no filming.
I was bombarding him with stuff when you were around the corner. He just sits there. He was looking at me thinking, this bloke's got so much information on me, I'm doomed.
I do not know who the hell Lord Lucan is, okay?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Looked straight at this bloke, and I knew straight away, that's Lord Lucan. I swear on my mother's grave, that is Lord Lucan. That bastard is there.
I cannot believe it when I pointed to him and said, I know you're Lord Lucan, and then straight away, with arrogance, he just follows up with this, well, if I am Lord Lucan, what the fuck are you going to do? Put me in prison?
Basically, I couldn't give a damn. Now, if you finished...
He was calm and collected, and then he just turned, didn't he?
Yeah.
100%. That man back there is Lord Lucan.
No one goes wandering into an old man's house in Brisbane and finds the man hunted by so many people for so many years. It can't be him. Can it?